Good morning, everybody. It's Lynn Renee McDonald. Today, I'm in my shopping center in Virginia Beach, Virginia, and today I'm going to talk to you about different spiritual teachers and different spiritual people that you go to and why you get different information from each one. Like it's the same, but many times, but it's different. And how come some people pick up on some stuff and some people don't? And how come some stuff resonates with you and some stuff does not? So it's kind of like a smorgasbord of spiritual stuff that we're going to talk about in reference to all of this. We are going to address why all these things happen and how to be the clearest channel that you can possibly be, and how to know who to go to if you're going to do a psychic reading, a medical intuitive reading, medium work, spiritual work, life counseling, healing, Reiki, craniosacral, or any kind of spiritually or holistic based stuff, all right, or based practice kind of a thing. We're going to talk about all of these things, like when you should go and why you should go, as well as when not to go. Okay, when not to go, like if you work with somebody and it doesn't work for you and why that is, okay? So there's a whole bunch of cool stuff that we're going to talk about today. I'm just getting my sage going, as usual. Here it is. So we're going to have a great time. And today is Saturday, and it's for practical spirituality. And thanks for coming, everybody, or thanks for watching. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about is, excuse me a minute. I'm just going to ask God to give us the clearest channel and speak through me from the highest vibration of God's honest, unconditional love, truth, and wisdom that is in this reality or any reality and in all that is, and to give us the God's honest truth about all information here as now and for everybody, for me and everybody, from the highest vibration of God's honest, unconditional love, truth, and wisdom, and the best way for us and all or something better. And thank you, God, for that for us. Okay, so first things first, when you're on a spiritual path, it is because most of the time, at some point in your life, you are finished suffering. You have finished suffering, or you've had enough suffering. All right? The way the world is designed with law of universe is when you have had enough suffering is when you've had enough suffering is when you call out to God, basically. If you look at, like to give you an example, TV shows or, things on the news, so to speak, or you read books. Like there was this one guy who was out in the ocean and he was lost in the ocean for days and there were sharks around him and he was like there for months. And he said one of his things that he said, I can't remember exactly what his name was, but I think Angelina Jolie made a movie about him. And it was, what was the name of it? But I can't remember the name of the movie, but he got stuck. He was in the ocean and he was like in a Navy ship that was shot down. And this is earlier in the 1900s. It was one of those two wars, but really that's irrelevant. The whole purpose, the reason I'm telling you this is because he was in the ocean and he survived in the ocean for many, many days with sharks and all this unwell stuff. And we're like talking, I think like 30 some days, all right, when most normal people would be dead, okay? But what he talked about was how he didn't care about what religion you were or who the fuck you were, really. When you are suffering and you are miserable and you ain't got nothing else, guess what you're going to do? You're going to call out for God. You're going to call out for help. You're going to say, please, God, help me, because that's how we're all designed, whether you call it God, love, energy, higher power. And if you're an atheist and you don't believe, your soul will put you where it needs to go, whether in this lifetime or future lifetimes, because your soul with love energy is perfectly designed to do this. Your soul is designed to bring you to God, to source, to love energy. Why? It is not to make you miserable. It is to bring you to this place so that you can have the best life and the best health and the best love, excuse me, and the best of everything for you in this life. Because really, you're a love energy wizard, really. Okay, so the bottom line is this guy is in the ocean and he's suffering and he's out there for 30 days and he's starving and he's dehydrated and there's a shark out there or sharks out there and the very thing he says is I don't care who you are, you're gonna call out for God when you're done suffering or when you've had enough and you ain't got got nothing else. That's how we're all designed, because that's the perfect formula for everything. I cannot tell you how many times it has saved my ass in my life, because Lord knows when you are a spiritual being, when you're on a spiritual path and you come in as a spiritual teacher and you're on a spiritual road, whoever you are, whatever level teacher, wherever you're at, you are a total free spirit. That's part of the reason you don't fit in, because nobody's rules and regulations really works for you. Okay, so what happens in this place when nobody's rules and regulations work for you is you tend to have a rougher time than most of the people out here who follow the rules and follow the regulations. So I cannot tell you that how many times I did stupid shit, and that's par for the course. The older the soul, the more unwellness you have in here, the more great magic or wizardness or love energy magic, I call it, that you have in your soul, and all the gifts that you have. But you cannot get to all of those gifts in their entirety and in all that they are if you do not do your spirit work and you do not work with God on a conscious level in the healthiest, best way for you. Okay. And for all. Okay. And follow it in alignment with this space of love energy and law of universe. You can do whatever you want. You can still have magical gifts in this reality, but I am greatest example today to tell you that anytime I didn't listen to my heart, anytime I didn't listen to my intuition, and I had super unwellness in my life. And then to top it all off, if you're not consciously aware of what is going on in your soul and in your reality and all about you, what happens is your soul creates a shitstorm for you out here until you get it. So this can be drug abuse, not having enough money, abusive relationships, violent things happening, court cases, going to jail, super unwellness in any and all way, shape, or form, health issues. I mean, so your soul will create what it needs to in this reality to bring you to love energy or God. This is how we're all designed. This is all law of universe. So you can either let that happen on a subconscious level in your soul where all your unwellness comes out, along with all your magic, okay? But it comes out and you have absolutely no way to really monitor and get your shit together in some way, shape, or form in your life, or in all way, shape, or form. Some things you can manage, other things not so much. And this is why when I ask people and I say, are you really happy? And they're like, well, yeah, I'm happy. And I'm like, I get in a room full of people, a huge room full of people, and I'm asking them if they're happy, and they're all saying, yeah, we're happy. And I'm like, really? I'm like, because that's not what God or love energy is telling me. And then all of a sudden they're like, well, yeah, I'm not really happy, because somewhere in their life there is a deficit from the unwellness in your soul. If you don't address this shit, this is how it works for all of us. Doesn't make me any better than you or you any better than me. This is law of universe and how things work. This is a major part of it. Okay, so the best way to be the best you and have the best life with the least amount of suffering, because that's what happens. Your soul will call it in from a subconscious level, and it can bring great suffering. Everybody's degree of suffering is different from everybody else's. Okay, so mine could be this big. Somebody else's ratio could be this big. Somebody else's this big. All right, this is how we're all designed. Okay, this is law of love energy, law of universe. So you can either grab the bull by the horns or keep on living the way you're living on a conscious, kind of subconscious level, where you're not really being aware of what you're doing, what's happening in your reality, and why you don't get along with somebody, or why you're having these problems, because you don't take a look at you. I remember all the unwell relationships in my life. I was just like, man, how many times can I try to make it work with a guy and it gets all fucked up? I'm like, what the hell? It must be I'm dating the wrong guys. I'm like, my life sucks. They can't be here for me. I'm miserable, all this stuff, right? And when it comes right down to it, I finally got to a place in me, and I was like, oh my God, it is not the men who suck. It is me who is unwell. I was like, oh my God, the men aren't the problem. I am. I was the one who really couldn't commit in some way, shape, or form, not necessarily in the way that they couldn't commit. I couldn't be there for me. I couldn't honor me. I couldn't respect me. I couldn't love me. I didn't have boundaries. I didn't call people back. I didn't do the right thing from love. And therefore, I didn't allow myself abundance. I didn't allow myself to love myself. I didn't allow people to love me. All right. I didn't allow myself to have nice things. When that shit happens, that's how all that happened. And I was like, oh, I couldn't believe it. So that's all part of my spiritual journey, and it's lessons for all of us. Because if I can share this shit with you and save you the trip of going through the unwellness that I had to, you're damn right I'm going to do it. Because my job is to prevent and expedite this mission here on the planet in the fastest, easiest, quickest way for you, which is teaching Christ consciousness, which is teaching love energy, so that you can get it quickly. So it's not going to take you 12 to 15 years to reach enlightenment in this lifetime. If you do what I teach, it will bring you there far quicker, way faster than anything else out there. But everything works in conjunction. So when you ask God for true happiness and true enlightenment, or to truly be happy, and the things that you want, your soul with God, and that's what I'm talking about, your relationship with love energy, okay? It will lead you to everything that you so need in this life, all right? Everything that you ask for will come in, because you're working with love energy. You're asking for what you want, and then you're going to clear your blocks and create it to happen. Okay. All of this said, this gives you a general idea of how things work out here. The same is true with spiritual teachers, okay? If they do their work, all right, if they do their work at whatever level they are at, it will feel good for you, and you will feel called into them, and your soul will call in exactly what you need for your spiritual journey, or whatever it is that you ask God for. All the stuff that has to go will be removed. And it will be evident in your reality, okay? So you will be able to see it in some way, shape, or form. This is all part of what I do. Basically, I'm an expert at this shit, because I've been working on me for lifetimes, not only lifetimes, but in this lifetime alone, oh God, since I very, very much so came in, but really detrimentally on myself, I guess you could say for at least 12 to 15 years, before I even really came out in the public to do this work, before, and what happened is I would work with other teachers just like everybody else. You go on a spiritual journey, and your soul leads you to the best people for you. And then at some point, what happened to me was God said, we're your teacher now. And I was like, really? I was like, okay, but it all started with me and all that suffering that is designed by law of universe when I had enough of my own bullshit. And I said, God, I don't want to suffer anymore. I don't want to be in this world anymore. I remember crying on my bed, and I had a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. And I'm like, yeah, this isn't, and they were sleeping in the other room. And I remember saying, yeah, this is just not going to work for me, God. I'm like, I want to be happy, or I don't want to be here anymore. And that's kind of the space you get to that really gets you to enlightenment, unless you do what I teach, which is working with God or love energy consciously, okay, as much as possible, all the time, and you learn about all that is law of universe, and you create your best life for you, okay? So it cannot happen in the healthiest, best, quickest way without the formula that I have to teach. I don't give a fuck who you are or what you're doing. Really, this is it. You just work with love energy 24/7, okay? And there's all different aspects of it, in terms of, there's all different spiritual teachers and spiritual beings. As you go down the road and you vibrate higher, eventually you'll end up at Christ consciousness. It can't not happen that way, okay? As you vibrate higher. And your soul, and it doesn't mean that there's other spiritual teachers that are not as good as me and this and that or the other or anything like this. I really don't give a shit about stuff like that. What matters here is that you get the best possible formula that is the quickest, easiest way to make you happy and have the greatest life for you, okay? Because as you know, in this reality, we're designed on a subconscious soul level to get enlightenment, and with age comes wisdom, usually, okay? Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, all right? And with age comes wisdom, usually, like I said, so you can take lifetimes to get this shit, or you can just say, hey, God, I'm going to work with you consciously, and your soul will bring you to all the teachers you need right now, because a lot of times, at whatever vibration level you are, you have Christ consciousness within you, but it is not active because you have so much crap of the unwellness in your soul. It's not consciously active in this reality. Okay, there's different levels of being active within it, within your soul. So you will go to the teachers that you need to get to the point to that are best for you spiritually, whether it's Reiki, cranial sacral, energy work, psychic work, Ho'oponopono, whatever it is that you feel called into spiritually, once you ask God and start working with God and tell Spirit that you're tired of suffering and you're done, or talk with your higher self, because that's all part of your God connection. Once you start doing that, your soul is going to lead you to every avenue you need to do and be the best you came here to be. This is the way enlightenment works. You either grab the bull by the horns or not. So all different teachers at all different levels, okay? Now, you pick and feel which teacher is best for you, okay? Your soul will put it out there. I just gave you the core of what you need, the basics to tell you and teach you about how this happens and how you get to this place, okay? So your soul will pick whoever you need to work with, whether it's a shaman, a psychic, a healer, or a reader, and sometimes many different ones and variations of them. And it also depends on what your soul came in here to do, okay? Your soul comes in here to if it comes in here to be a spiritual teacher, or it has a specific mission, and they always have a specific mission, and sometimes many. There are many facets of us and things that we came here to do, both on a soul singular level and on a collective consciousness level across the board. Okay, so we're here doing all this work simultaneously, and in all areas within ourselves and in this reality. And it's usually not just one thing, it's many things. And it's also multidimensional. It's amazing. It's nothing like what you think out here. It's the coolest shit, but there's so much to learn. It's fascinating. Okay. However, I'm going to stick to this subject for today. All right. Giving you the basics of how things work. And then we're like I said, we're going to talk about these spiritual teachers. So when you're in this space with the spiritual teachers, your soul will pick out the ones that are best for you. Okay, you feel in your heart. When it doesn't feel good anymore, or you feel toxic, or it makes you sick, it is time to leave a spiritual teacher, or you're not learning enough. Okay, it's time for you to move on. Okay, so I also, and you'll know that by how it feels. Okay, also, the higher you vibrate, the more at some point as you go along the road, you're going to just need to work with God yourself all the time. And maybe once in a while you'll need somebody like me to help you get past a block, a bridge, or you're going through a transformation or something like that. You will know, because all of a sudden Spirit will give you a vision of my face or something crazy like that, or they'll show you my name, or you'll run into me, but your soul will call it in, because you create me, I create you. We work simultaneously together to create the best life here for us and everybody. And that's how it truly works, okay? So, all of this said, different spiritual people are here for different lessons, different levels for themselves personally, and as well as outside in this world, okay? And you, at the vibrational level that you are called into, you'll pick somebody who is that teacher for you in that vibrational level. And in time, if you do your spirit work and they do your spirit work, you will both grow together and you will keep the same clients for a long ass time. All right. Other times you will, the person will go and get what you got to teach and go and be able to do it on their own. Ultimately, that is the goal of a spiritual teacher, is to give you your greatest gifts so you can fly, give you all the tools that you need, and you take that wisdom and that love energy magic and you be the greatest you, and you really won't really need me too much anymore. Okay? That's the whole purpose of that. Okay? So that is a lot of the way this works. And also what happens is, as you outgrow your spiritual teacher, you will know, and then you'll move to another one and move to another one. And same thing, like I will be in a room of psychics, and all these psychic people will get different information. And sometimes people will come to me and they'll be like, I don't feel like this is true, or it's not true, or it's a variation of the truth, or it's some kind of concoction based on so many different things. Most of the time, the psychic is not wrong. wrong. All right. But every now and then I get somebody who's crap in their soul, who's a psychic or a spiritual teacher or whatever, who tells somebody something that is miscued by their beliefs and their stuff that happens in here. Okay. Or they're in an unwell space, or they're not able to interpret it in the healthiest, best way, or there's a miscommunication barrier here, because communication is key to any kind of work you do, any kind of teaching, and anything really in society, in spiritual work, and everything. The best, healthiest communication is key for this mission. All right. And for your whole life, because if you don't have the social skills you need and the ability to listen truly and the ability to speak from love and with others, then you're kind of screwed. So this is a big part of it, okay? There are many reasons and many things that go on here, plus the soul's mission, all right? So they can only get to levels of love energy that is God, these psychics or spiritual teachers or whoever you're working with that is spiritual. They can only get to the level that their vibration came here to get at, unless they grab the bull by the horns and work consciously with love energy all the time and keep getting in that space, which is doing Christ consciousness in some way, shape, or form. And then they'll continue to grow, and then they get out of that level. The more you work with God consciously and subconsciously and in all ways, or love energy, the greater the abilities and the gifts of whoever the spiritual person is. All right. The more they clear their stuff, the higher they vibrate, the more access to information that they have. Okay. And this is true, and this is a gift for everybody with free will. If you want this, again, depends on what your soul mission is, the crap in your soul, if you can get past your stuff, all of this stuff. But really, Christ consciousness and working with love energy consciously, and what I teach is the perfect design to clear your shit. Because when your stuff comes up, you get rid of it. You ask God to be free of it, and you ask God, and you create all the time what you want to happen. Anything you don't want to happen, you ask God for. So you have all the power. So many times I run into different psychics, and they're all super gifted, or different spiritual teachers as well. You will know what the truth is by how it feels. What is the truth for you? Sometimes psychics and spiritual people, their stuff gets in the way when they teach you. Also, your stuff can get in the way. You too are responsible for the information you get, how you interpret it, as well as the unwellness in your soul will prevent that you getting the best information that's God's honest truth for you, okay, in whatever space you're in. So these are all great tools and things to know about when you pick people to work with, all right, and ultimately you feel in your heart what is the truth for you, all right, which with whatever teacher, whatever person, whoever it is, you pick who is best for you. But the goal here is, if you want to be the greatest you can be in all ways, whatever your mission, spiritual or not, whether you want to be like Steve Jobs or Bill Gates or a housewife or a librarian, and whatever your passion is, whatever it is, a dog sitter, communicate with animals, have boat tours where you swim with mermaids. Or you talk to the fish, or you teach people how to animal communicate, or you're a healer or an energy worker, or you're, a scientist, a biologist, or you have super wisdom to come in here and change the planet, because all these new awesome souls are coming in and they're super gifted. But the only way they can really get to the highest vibration of the space and all their gifts that is possible in this reality is by doing what I teach. And it's what Christ taught. All right. So it's a no-brainer, like that Justin Bieber song, right? It's a no-brainer, right? So anyways, so that's what I really wanted to talk to you about today, is to talk to you about why people can get to certain levels and you have problems and issues with other psychics. It's because it has to do with what's going on in their souls, their soul mission, their unwellness, your unwellness, interpretation, how people perceive things based on what's going on in here. All right. The higher you vibrate with love energy, the clearer the connection, which is why by doing what I teach, people usually come to me with the stuff that nobody else can figure out or nobody else understands. Not because I'm better than them, because I do a different way from them. I do my shit. I do my work with God. This is what I teach. So the higher I vibrate and the more I work with God, the more access I have to information. Okay. And I wasn't always like this. This has been a journey for me too. It's like people think you're born like this and this is how we're, no. If you know anything based on this reality, is nothing is really handed to you. And love energy is true of that. If you want something, you must work for it hard sometimes, really hard. You want a dream to come true and and you want to make it happen, the best way to do it is to be in your heart space, because then it's not hard work. When you love what you do, you're doing what you love, and you can work at it basically 24/7, and it works, and it's fantastic, and that's the formula. Then it doesn't become work anymore, and it isn't hard anymore. It doesn't mean that you don't have challenges. You just bring everything to source that is God. So this is really how come different spiritual teachers get different information, and you will get different information too. It depends, again, on the stuff that you get too. So if you're not doing your spiritual work and the space that you are in, okay, that will also mess you up with your belief system as well. Okay, so if you have any questions about this, please do text me, PM me. You can reach me at Lynn Renee McDonald. Here, practicalspirituality@gmail.com. You can reach me on that email as well. You can reach me at my shopping center in Virginia Beach, Virginia. I go all over the country and I teach this that is law of love energy and law of universe, Christ consciousness, and all this is working with love. It has nothing to do with church, nothing to do with religion. It's just the truth, the God's honest truth about love energy and how it works, okay? All right, so now you know next time when you get a reading and stuff, or you're working with somebody, if it doesn't feel good, what to do. And if you don't know what to do, what is it I say? Always ask God. If it doesn't feel good, or you don't know, or you're not sure, or whatever it is in the tiniest amount, you bring it right to source and say, hey, God, what the heck is going on here? Let me know that God's honest truth, and let me know what to do, how to do it from love in the best way for me and all, or something better. Okay. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great Saturday. So much love to you. And, I'm so psyched. I'm psyched for all the greatness that is coming. We got a great life, a great life. All right. Have a good day. Thanks.